Hey, Larry. Thanks for joining us. How have you been?
Oh, good. Thank you.
Good. Now, if you recall, this interview was supposed to take place 3 years ago, January of 2020. But I think
Wow.
there was a death in your family, and we had to
Right.
postpone it. You were at the side door that coming weekend.
Okay.
All
All
right.
right.
All right.
Yeah.
Does it ring a bell at all?
Yes. Yes.
Okay. So
I had
maybe.
forgotten about that, but it's my pleasure to be here now. So thank you.
Okay, great. Welcome. And we've had a pandemic since then. So
Yeah.
what's been happening with you in the last 3 years? Maybe just some brief things that are important to you since 2020.
Yeah. Well, through the
Pandemic, I did a series of streamed concerts like so many musicians were doing. Uh, but I had the pleasure to have some series of concerts with some great guest artists, with my trio. We had we were using this venue. It's a loft outside of Philadelphia, and
Oh,
so it was kind of a nice venue that the bassist Matthew Parrish had access to. And so anyway, we streamed these concerts, trio concerts, but with guests, and we had uh, different episodes. We had Ken Poplawski and Warren Wolf did one, Terrell Stafford and Houston Person. Peter Bernstein did another one. So
great. Yeah.
those kept me busy through the pandemic, and then
Okay.
just you know since things have been opened up now, I'm just trying to do resume my touring schedule, and just played with the great Houston Person recently, and looking
Yeah.
forward to this engagement up at the Side Door coming up
Okay.
this weekend.
Okay. Now you perform mostly in trios or quartets. Is that your preference? And have you done other things that maybe we're not aware of in larger
I
groups
mean,
or?
over the course of my career,
I've played with um, some really great singers, and sometimes with larger ensembles, but the bulk of my career has been playing with a trio. I've been leading my own trio, but in my career, I have kind of the unique experience of having played in two trios that were not led by the piano
Hmm.
chair. So I played in the great drummer Jeff Hamilton's trio, and then later on, I played in Ray Brown's trio.
Ray
So
Brown.
that gave me a lot of experience. Yeah, I got
Yeah.
a lot of experience, playing in that format, but watching two great musicians lead their group. So that was a great experience for me.
Tell us about how you connected up with Ray Brown in the first place. Because you were with him for about 2 or 3 years.
Yeah, I was with him.
Until he passed away, and I
Yeah. So you
joined
were
his group in.
the last pianist to play in his trio. Yeah. Great.
Yes, I was.
I joined in 2000, and he passed away in July of 2002. So I was with him for 2.5 years.
Mm.
But uh, getting back to how I joined Ray, I was, as I mentioned, I was playing in Jeff Hamilton's trio, and Ray heard me play with Jeff, and I also I think I first played with Ray at one of these jazz parties where they kind of mix and match all the musicians.
Mm-hmm.
And then I did a recording in 1998 while I was still in Jeff Hamilton's trio, and I asked Ray if he would record with me, and he agreed to. So I did this recording with Jeff and Jeff Hamilton and Ray Brown, and then
So Ray Brown was your
shortly after,
side man. So Ray Brown was your
He
side man.
on that record. Yeah,
Yeah.
he'd
Great.
agreed to record with me, and then uh, at some point shortly after that, Jeff Keyser, his pianist at the time, couldn't make a tour in Europe, so he thought of me, and I happen to know quite a few of the arrangements that they were playing, so I think that helped me, in Ray deciding to call me to when Jeff Keyser actually ended up leaving the group. So, we did this tour of Europe, and I knew enough of the material that we could play Ray's material. I didn't know all of it, but enough to make it, a tour out of it where we could play the arrangements and so forth. So
Great.
that's kind of how that happened. Yeah.
He spent quite a bit of time with the Oscar Peterson trio, and Oscar Peterson trio has a new release out. Did you know that? Con Alma.
I saw something about that. Yeah, it's amazing all these recordings that are coming up out of
they
the
seem
woodwork
to
that are
they seem to find them in the vaults or buried somewhere.
So
This one is live in Lucano in 1964, and
Very
it's Ray Brown with Ed Thigpen and Oscar Peterson. We just listen to this for a bit. We'll keep that in the background for a little bit. The first tune we played before we started talking was from your third release, I think, your third recording.
Yeah.
And Overjoyed, it's called. And it was called The Mooch. Now, there's got to be a backstory to that. How did you come up with that title? That's your composition, right?
Yeah. I wasn't thinking, when I titled it that, the classic Ellington tune, The Mooch, but it was just a name, a little endearing name I wrote it for our little family member, our dachshund. He was always so playful and brought such happiness and joy to our family, and he was always, of course, mooching for stuff. So I wrote that little kind of vibe groove that sort of captured his personality, I think.
All right. Well, that's a good story. Now, the question everyone here in the greater New Haven area is asking, are you related to Jeff Fuller?
No.
Do you know Jeff Fuller?
I don't know Jeff. I know of him. I don't think I've ever met Jeff. Yeah, there were a few Fullers in the jazz the jazz world, Of course, the great Curtis Fuller. But also there was a Canadian musician. I can't think of his first name right now. Drummer. But anyway, no, I'm not related to Jeff.
Okay, all right. Well, that was the big question around here. Well, is he related to Jeff? No. Now, Houston person, how did you make that connection?
Oh boy,
I've been knowing Houston for a long time. When I was working with Ernestine Anderson, he was at the time he had his group with the great singer Etta Jones, and Etta and Ernestine were very good friends. So I think I first started being around him back in those days. But I just think over I played a lot of these festivals and parties, jazz parties, where they mix and match artists together, and I think I played with Houston in some of those party formats initially. and
Huh.
just it's always a pleasure to play with him. He's such an icon and just so
Yeah.
inspiring. I mean, his age, he's 89 and he just so great still. It's amazing, and he's traveling still, and just a
Yeah.
blessing that he's still doing it.
Yeah. Did you know he was from New Haven? New Haven, Connecticut.
Houston?
Yeah.
No,
Yeah.
I thought he was from Florence, South Carolina.
No, New Haven, Connecticut. And he just was presented last month with an award for one of New Haven's living legends. So, and he performed. It was incredible.
Oh yeah.
Had the people, yeah.
Mhm.
Okay, here's a little bit of your last recording with Houston Person. It's Reminiscing at Rudy's, is the name of the release. And it was recorded at Rudy Van Gelder's famed studios, Inglewood Cliffs, New Jersey. Yeah, so that must have been an experience.
That was a thrill because
I had never recorded there, and so that was a thrill. I mean, geez, the history of
The
that
history
place and
there.
all the you go in there and it just all these classic albums that are on the walls, and it's just amazing. So
Yeah, it's like
Houston's been recording there for years. So
it's got to
yeah,
be
that was
like a
that was
museum.
oh definitely,
yeah, and you never know it was there. I mean, it's just this kind of nondescript building that sits back way down a driveway, and
Huh.
yeah, it's amazing. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, well, we're going to hear a little bit of At Long Last Love from Houston Person, Reminiscing at Rudy's with Russell Malone, Larry Fuller, Matthew Parrish, and Lewis Nash. All right. Nice comp in there by Larry Fuller. So, now who's in your trio this weekend?
I have the great drummers.
Actually, Carmen and Tori is doing Friday night, and Jason Tiemann, who's been playing with me for a number of years, will be playing on Saturday night with me. And Lauren Cohen is the bassist. He's a great bass player on the scene in New York, and played with Monty Alexander and a lot of other great artists. So
Yeah,
Okay.
great musicians.
Sounds good. And who's your favorite pianist?
I have
so many that I love, but I have to say I love
Name
all
a
the
few,
guys
maybe.
Yeah. I love I love Oscar Peterson, Phineas Newborn, Cedar Walton, Monty Alexander, and Gene Harris, and
So
Hank Jones.
would you say that you try to model yourself after some of those pianists, or you just have your own thing and have been doing that for a while?
I've tried to play along with all those records and absorb, steal things that I can.
I hear you.
You ultimately you got to make it come out in your own voice. But yeah, that, just trying to learn in a real organic way from the masters is how I learned when I was young, playing with recordings and trying to steal things off the records.
And when you were young, you started playing piano when you were 10 or 11 years old?
Yeah, about that, about 10 years old, which is not really that young, a lot of kids start at 4 or 5, but anyway, yeah, I bet I started around that age. And I mean, it's such a different scene now with how,
Yeah.
Jazz education and everything is, in the academic arena now, which is great. I mean,
Does the name Candy Johnson mean anything to you?
Yeah, that was one of my first mentors and teachers. He was a great tenor player that had he had a program in the public schools where I grew up in Toledo, Ohio, and then he started taking me under his wing and taking me on his own gigs when I was a young teenager. And so I was blessed to have some great mentors like that,
Okay. Now, is there anything we kind of getting to a close here? Anything you'd like to say, or you'd like our listeners to know before they go to the concert on Saturday or Friday?
Yeah,
well, first of all, appreciate everyone supporting this art form and live music, and we're just looking forward to swinging and playing some music that will hopefully, have a great time and uplift people. And I try to play great music, but music that is for people. That's what I try to do. So
absolutely,
it's a great venue too. The Side Door is a great venue. So we need to support these venues that are keeping this music going. And so anyway, it's always such a great crowd there at Old Lyme, and appreciate all the people that come out for sure.
Yeah, that's Connecticut's premier jazz spot, and we're certainly glad it's there. Okay, Larry, we want to thank you for joining us. We're going to close out our program here with release from your latest recording. And do you have anything new coming out anytime soon? Are you going to be recording?
Yeah, I'm gonna be working on a new project soon. I don't have anything in stone with it, but yeah, definitely time to do another one.
All right, sounds good. This is from your 2019 recording, Overjoyed, and it's the title track. Okay, Larry, thanks.
Thank you.
All right, we look forward to your concert Friday and Saturday at the Side Door Jazz Club.
Okay, great. Thank you.